I'm here on News Today. My name is Kemini Nyamani Amano. In the first story, the District Chief Executive of the Sagnarigo District in the Northern Region has charged residents of Gumani to build toilet facilities in their various homes and not rely on public toilets. According to Mohammed Sorogodo, getting toilets in the various homes will reduce the number of infections people contract from using public toilets.
Responding to nature's call may be difficult when one does not have a toilet facility in his or her home. Many residents of the rural areas have turned their forest reserves into toilet facilities. Others also resort to the use of public toilets. This act is said to have a lot of implications on the practitioners. Speaking on clean communities, Mohammed Sorogodo advised residents of Gumani, one of the focus communities, to build toilet facilities in their homes so as to reduce the pressure on the public toilet facilities.
Public toilets in communities for now are issues that we do not encourage. We are now discouraging the issue of building public toilets. What we now encourage has to do with household toilets. Why we are now speaking against building or putting up public toilet facility in our communities is that we are looking at our health issues. Health issues in the sense that if everybody is using that same facility, at least certainly there are some people who will be coming with communicable diseases, and that if it's coming to use that same facility with others, certainly others will get infected with such diseases or with such infection, and therefore that is not right. And more so, when community keeps growing, you realize that we will be spending much of our precious time coming to line up or coming to be in a queue to be able to have access to use the facility. Therefore, for various reasons, the time has come for us as an assembly, the local authority, to discourage the provision of, public toilets.
Can Ghana do away with public toilets entirely?
Of course, we cannot just absolutely do away with that. But where that is encouraged is the lorry stations and maybe public places where you go for public gathering. But in a community like that, I want to be found with myself and I want to be found with my brother and sister. That we are now discouraging, the provision of a public toilet facility in the various communities. Okay. We are talking about partnership. Everybody will have his role as a responsible citizen to live out to our responsibilities. So we are fighting for our right, but at the same time, rights goes with responsibilities.
Now that one DCE has taken this initiative, will others follow suit? Derek Akosam, Joy News, Accra.
Let's come back to Accra, and the acting chief executive officer of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Reverend Albert Butchie, says the facility has, as part of the ongoing restructuring process, is streamlining its accounting and auditing processes. He was speaking on Super Morning Show Thursday.
We have to go through tender process. We have to, if it is sole sourcing, we have to go through the sole sourcing process of applying to procurement agency. There's a due process of the law that has to be followed. In addition to that, you must also know that we cannot just say that as an institution like Kolebu, there may not be one item that may not be in short supply. But wherever it happens, we are proactive, we are ready to address those things. But for us to say there are shortages all over the place, I don't think. Now, what happened this year particularly was the fact that when the Bank of Ghana regulation came in, the dollar fluctuation set in, all the suppliers who won the tender came back and said, we are demanding 50% increase, 80% increase. Now, imagine going through the lengthy process of procurement. 3 months after, somebody comes and says that, I've won the tender, but I cannot supply. Must you go through the same process again? No. Or you negotiate with the person to reduce the intake, the prices. So this dollar issue created a new issue altogether, and we went to procurement, national procurement, got approval for 20% across board. Even with that, some delivered, some didn't. Now, let me tell you what we have done strategically. We have managed to contact the manufacturers like AstraZeneca, Novartis. This is number 2 in the world and number 3 in the world. They are ready to provide supply to Kolebu with the old price, last year price. So assuming the old price to 2013 was 100 Ghana cedis, they said they are going to give us at 100 Ghana cedis without any increment of any percentage, irrespective of the dollar fluctuation. They are not just going to supply it at the old price, they are going to give us a further discount of 20 to 30%, meaning that if it was 80, it was 100, it will now come to 80. Now, as compared to the current suppliers who are demanding 80% increase on the existing price, which will bring it to 180, we are getting this from the suppliers. They are also saying that we are going to give you 6 months credit. 6 months credit for the year. For every consignment. That 6 months credit will peg the dollar CD rate at the time that you order. So if you, in January, the dollar is 2 to or 3 to cities to a dollar, it will remain that way on till the 6 month when you have paid and you come back again. Occasionally, they may raise an issue, emergency purchase, but as and when a department raises it, we address it immediately. Now, the other challenge some time ago we used to have is that when you raise a request, it has to go through the accounting process, and it used to delay at auditing, it used to delay at accounting. But as I'm speaking now, we have also streamlined our accounting processes. We have also streamlined our auditing process because we have to vet every request. Today, per the report I'm getting, no requests remains at the auditor's desk for more than 48 hours.
Now, civil society group, the Institute for Democratic Governance and the Civic Forum Initiative have called for a postponement of this year's referendum on amendments to the 1992 Constitution. The two, in a joint statement, said this has become necessary because the Constitutional Review Implementation Committee process has failed to sufficiently involve Ghanaians and their representatives in Parliament.
The constitution review process by the CRIC has already been approved by Cabinet and is currently before Parliament and the Council of State. Once approved by Parliament, the Electoral Commission will then proceed with the national referendum to review the 1992 Constitution. Joy News has gathered the electorate will vote a simple yes or no to the about 34 entrenched clauses and 7 new ones which have been proposed. The 41 amendments have, however, not been disseminated to the public. Beside the lack of public sensitization, Senior Research Fellow at IDEC, Dr. Kwesi Jonas, says the public may be made to vote either a yes or no to an entire set of proposals, whether or not they may have a different view on each of the individual proposals.
You are not going to vote on each one of them. Do you agree with yes, no? There's no middle way. So you go to vote. When you vote yes, you have voted for all the 41, the 34 existing ones and 7 new ones added. If you vote no, but this is precisely the reason why a very thorough public education is required. You are going to say yes to 41 provisions or no. You have to know what every single one of them is talking about. Otherwise, your yes or your no will have no.
The former Commissioner of Charge, Francis Emil Short, who is the technical advisor to the two civil society groups, also said the amendments must be made public to ensure transparency.
Is that the 34 entrenched provisions, as well as the existing 34 entrenched provisions, as well as the 7 new entrenched provisions, should be made public as soon as possible. I think that is critical. There should be transparency, and as quickly as possible, these provisions should be made public. So I think that is one of the fifth call that this gathering should be making.
The CFI and IDEC are therefore proposing that the entire process be opened up to allow more input from the public before the referendum is held on it.
As required under Chapter 25 of the Constitution, it would be extremely difficult to hold a referendum on the amendment of the entrenched clauses of the 1992 Constitution this year for the following reasons. A. The Council of State may require up to 30 days or 1 calendar month to advise on the proposed amendments. B. The amendments will have to be gazetted for 6 months before a referendum can be held. C. Parliament will require time to study the proposed amendment before the first reading. And D. The time between now and the referendum is too short to do the right thing the right way.
Article 3560 of the 1992 Constitution calls on the state to afford the people all possible opportunities to fully participate in the decision-making at all levels of national life. The two groups therefore believe opening up the process to inclusive or broad-based participation will strengthen the commitment and popularity of the amended Constitution. Emmanuel Lante, reporting for Joy News, Accra.
Well, I'll see you after the break. ECOWAS leaders are expected to meet in July to take a final decision on this agreement. Though the economic grouping has agreed in principle to sign the pact, it's postponed to signing when its leaders met earlier this year in Ivory Coast. Let's move on to some other stories in business. Former Minister of Finance, Professor Kwesi Botchwey, says government must act responsibly to ensure confidence in the economy from donors, so they can't release budget support being withheld due to the huge budget deficits. Professor Kwesi Botchwey made this remark when he took his stand at a distinguished speaker series organized by the Central University College on Tuesday.
The thing, though, is that right now, for the 2014 budget, for instance, there is no IMF. We are not on a fund program, all right? But we have programmed about 1.1 billion cedis of donor grants and flows into the budget, without any compulsion from anybody. Nobody asked us to put that in the budget. We assumed that we will obtain 1.1 billion cedis from donors in 2014. Therefore, we have an obligation to ensure that we do what it takes to get the $1.1 billion that we on our own put in the budget, without any fund or World Bank telling you to do so. We put it in it. Therefore, we must do what it takes to get the money, or we will be left with a hole that we must fill with taxing people some more and so on. You understand? So, yes, we can bare our chests and say we are sovereign, so we're not going to the fund. But if we decide that we will take some donor money nevertheless, we must be ready and understand that getting even that will come with conditions. Right now, we are having a hard time getting some donors to disburse grants for budget support. All right? Why are they dragging their feet? They see your macroeconomic environment, they see it's unstable, they don't know why you are overspending and so on. Therefore, they are holding the money back. That's sometimes even worse than what the fund will do. Because with the fund, at least, you can go and make a case for a waiver of some condition, all right, and get some money. With donors, it's not quite so easy. Besides, if you had a program with the fund, now, I'm not saying we should go to the fund, all right? I'm all for those who say we should demonstrate our sovereignty, we're not going anywhere else, and so on. Although I'll add, then act responsibly, all right? Because the market demands responsibility, all right? So, and then we must advert also to the cost of, we are members of the fund, all right? The fund drawings come with some conditions. as to interest rate and as to the payment period. My reading of the thing is, it is cheaper than the money you are borrowing from the market, than the money you are borrowing, with your bond issues and your euro bonds, and that the conditions are relatively the same. And there are conditions that even without any external prodding, you must impose on yourself just to gain credibility.
Now, the Finance Minister, fortunately, is likely to present to Parliament a mid-year review of the economy and a supplementary budget by mid-July. He tells Joy Business this has become necessary due to some developments in the economy and new revenues that have come in which require parliamentary approval before they can be expended. Finance Minister Satekwe has been explaining why government may have to do this.
We have a laid-down procedure for going to Parliament with respect to media review, and if it has to result in a supplementary budget, all I can say is that we are going to follow that. We have a constitution, we have the Financial Administration Act, and we have the Financial Administration Regulation, and so we'll follow the procedure. The procedures are laid down, they are well known, and that is what we are going to do. The procedures are very clear. FA, that if for any reason, you are going to take an action in the course of the year which was not part of your substantive budget, you must go to Parliament, and that's the point that we make.
Hello, it's a wet afternoon and you're welcome to the sports segment on News Today, proudly brought to you by Cowbell Milk. My name is Benedict Owusu. At this time we talk Black Stars, World Cup related issues, and first I'll start on the local front where Ghana moved a stop ahead in the latest FIFA rankings with some few days to the start of the 2014 World Cup in Brazil. The Black Stars are now ranked 37th in the world and a place above last month's position. Ghana gained 704.44 points in the month under review. The Black Stars moved ahead despite losing 1-0 to the Netherlands in an international friendly played last week Thursday. The defeat, however, played a major role in garnering more points for Ghana as they fell against the A-rated team. Ghana have also moved to 4th in the CAF rankings, overtaking Cape Verde Islands in the process. The Black Stars will rise even further in the rankings if they're able to deliver on their high expectations at the 2014 World Cup, which is just days away. So, the Black Stars now being ranked 27th in the world. Surprisingly, Algeria are ranked number 1 and 22nd in the world, but Spain maintains their position, the number 1 spot in the world. Let's do some other stories, and Ghana's camp announces the official squad numbers as players opt for their own unique shirt numbers for the 2014 FIFA World Cup in Brazil. This follows the submission of Kwesi Appiah's final 23-man list to FIFA. Captain Asamoah Gyan sticks to his usual number 3 shirt, while Kevin Prince Boateng swaps the 23 jersey he wore at the last World Cup in South Africa for the number 9 jersey now. Michael Essien, who wore the number 8 shirt in his World Cup debut in 2006 in Germany, has settled for the number 5 shirt, which he used to wear at Chelsea. Andre Ayew will wear his favorite jersey, that's the number 10 jersey this time around, as his brother Jordan, making his debut, goes for the 13 shirt that Andre used at the 2010 World Cup in South Africa. So just by way of the numbers of the players, Stephen Adams will wear the number 1 jersey, Samuel Nkunku number 2, Asamoah Gyan as always number 3, Daniel Parry will wear number 4, Michael Essien, as I said earlier, 5, Ifeanyi Akwa will wear number 6, we have Christian Atsu wearing number 7, Emmanuel Ajimanbedu as always in number 8 there, and Kevin Prince Boateng will wear number 9, Andre Ayew number 10, Suleiman Tari, his usual number 11 jersey will go for him, and this time Adam Kwarase will wear number 12 with Jordan Ayew 13, Albert Adama making his debut at the World Cup will wear number 14, same as Rashid Sumaila. He's also making his debut 15. Fatah Dawda, the goalkeeper, will wear 16. Rabiu Mohammed will wear 17. Abdul Majid Waris will be in the number 18 jersey, and Jonathan Mensah number 19. Kujaa Samoa will wear the number he wore at the last Nations Cup in South Africa 2010. That's the number 20 jersey. John Boy, as always, will be in the number 21, with Mubarak Wakasu 22 and Harrison Affo completing the list wearing the number 23 jersey. So away from the World Cup, let's come back home and do some local stories. And Bichim United striker Augustine Okra completed the season with a golden boot in the first Capital Plus Premier League, which ended yesterday. Okra's 16-goal haul sent him top of the goal chart as the season concluded, with 30 games played yesterday. He scored a goal on the final day and missed another opportunity from the spot. Though celebrating an impressive season, the Bichim Hitman missed his personal target of 17 goals. So as Bichim United striker Augustine Okra enjoying himself after being adjudged as the leading goal scorer in this season's Premier League, Accra Hearts-of-Oak were hoping to make it to the CAF Champions League. The last time they played in the Champions League, it's been so long. So this was the time that Hearts were hoping to do that. And yesterday they were doing that with Heart of Lions as well. Heart of Lions needed to win their game, which they lost. So Hearts-of-Oak, all that they needed to do was to get a good result against New Dubiase. Unfortunately for them, they drew that game 2-2. And I have Haruna Futa, who is a staunch member of the Accra Hearts-of-Oak fan group, and he joins me on the line. Haruna, good afternoon to you for your time. I'm sure yesterday you watched the game at the Accra Stadium.
Yes, I was at it. Good afternoon. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Unfortunately, we lost Haruna on that line. We'll try and re-establish contact with him for him to tell us, his disappointment and that of the other fans for their inability to make the CAF Champions League next season. That was their dream and that was their target this season. They were hoping to win the Premier League from Kumasi Asante Kotoko, but Kotoko were too strong for them. So Hearts couldn't win their game against New Dubiase, which would have probably ensured their slot at next season's CAF Champions League. So it's just unfortunate Accra Hearts-of-Oak will not be doing that. Well, I understand we have Aziz Haruna Futa back on the line. Aziz, I was asking yesterday, you were at the stadium, we watched the game. The last-minute penalty that the referee awarded to Dubiase. You sitting in the front, what exactly did you see?
Yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity. Yeah, I was so disappointed yesterday. I think that obviously the penalty is a dubious one, but the referee is the center man, he takes his decision. As we try to create sanity in Ghana football so that we will not see another May night, the referees, at least, you should be also helpful in decisions that can create a lot of chaos on the field. I think that is very bad yesterday. I was so disappointed.
Now, Aziz, the chance is gone. You guys were hoping to make it to the CAF Champions League next season, but now it's not going to happen. You drew 2-2 with New Dubiase. In general, how would you assess Accra Hearts-of-Oak's 2013-2014 Premier League season?
Yeah, first of all, if you compare this season to last season, I would say that we did well this season because last season we ended the league on 4th or 5th position, but this season we end the league 3rd position. Meanwhile, we have all the opportunity at least to even win this season league, if not because of the decisions that our current board make concerning the Duncan issue. We should have even won this league easy. But I would say that all the same we did well as compared to last season.
So going ahead, what would you suggest management do to ensure that, God willing, next season you participate better and probably reach your target of participating at the subsequent CAF Champions League games?
Thank you. I think that we have to do a lot of changes on the technical bench and even some of the players. I believe that the head coach, he has ended the league. I think it's time for him to patch up between Accra Hearts-of-Oak and him. And I think that we should also looking at a good strikers and an experienced players at least to help. We have a young players though, but we also need a chief executive that he understand the game very well, he understand the qualities and everything in Ghana football, so that at least next season we can win the league.
Aziz, thanks so much for joining us on News Today. Pleasure talking to you as always, and we hope that next season Hearts-of-Oak can bounce back and probably win the first Capital Plus Premier League. So, and also to you out there watching me, thanks so much for your time. This has been Sports on the News Today. Sports, as always.
Now you're watching News Today, and here are top stories. Special schools reopen on May 27, 2014 after a long row between itself and the Ministry of Education over unsettled bills. And Ghana's moved a step ahead and the latest FIFA rankings with some few days to the start of the 2014 World Cup in Brazil. We now rank 37th rather, in the world. Well, thank you very much for your company. My name is Kemini Nyamani Amana. Enjoy the rest of our broadcast. I'll see you tomorrow.